Happy birthday to you, dear Madras. Several exhibitions, lectures, heritage walks, art and cultural events are organized in Madras, now called Chennai City, every August.
We floated this idea in 2003 or 4 when Vincent D'Souza, the editor of Mylapore Times, myself and Mr. Muthaya, S. Muthaya, who's sadly no more, the city historian, we were having a chat over a cup of tea in his house. Is that today you have youngsters who are at the forefront of this.
Come December, the city sobs, cries, and finally wails from flood damage. Yes, every December, Chennai experiences minor floods, and in worse years like 2015, the damage claims lives, properties, dreams, and hopes. Why does the city that dresses up as a birthday baby in August turns into a disaster zone in December? Let's find out why and how. Chennai, formerly known by various names such as Madras, Madrasapattinam, Chennai Patnam, it is currently the capital city of Tamil Nadu in southern India. In the early 2nd century, it was known as Puliur Kotam, which was part of Tondai Mandalam, which was ruled by Thondaiman Elamthirayan, a representative of Chola kingdom. The city and its temples are mentioned in several Thevaram songs penned between 8th to 12th centuries.
There is recorded history of Chennai having nearly 50 emperors in the last 2000 years. The first set of emperors date back to about 1st century AD, the Cholan, Pallava, Pandya periods, which refer to specific schemes and grants by the king to dig canals for irrigation. This showed that they had a very modern approach to town planning for drinking water, for irrigation purposes, for irrigation and so on. Most of the water goes waste into the sea after creating colossal damage. This sort of thing was not there by and large in the administration of 1000 years ago, where they had efficient water management, which allowed for collection of the rainwater and sharing of rainwater with water bodies, by which making sure that areas were not flooded.
During the British era, the English settlement in Fort St. George and their expansion around the fort became the core of the city. The old Madras, ruled by kings and the later by the British, was not heavily populated. The waterways were not encroached upon like today, and a decent drainage system existed to pump excess water into the sea. Even then, the city, with a chain of water bodies ranging from temple tanks to ponds to lakes, smaller lakes and creeks, experienced severe flooding in 1943, which was covered by national media. Experts say that in the post-independence era, the city continued to expand both in length and breadth, but the capacity of the drains was not increased in proportion to the expansion. As the population soared, the city modernized with road infrastructure, but water channels were not protected. For example, T Nagar, now a busy marketplace, was built by reclaiming large portions of long tank, which acted as a sink during floods and met all drinking needs. The primary reason for Chennai floods traces back to a long history of vanishing lakes and water bodies and rampant urbanization. According to a study by Chennai-based Care Earth Trust, a biodiversity research organization, only 15% of Chennai's wetlands remain untouched. Their findings show that Chennai's built-up area grew from 47 square kilometer in 1980 to 402 square kilometer in 2012, while the wetlands declined from 186 square kilometer to 71 square kilometer. Now, Chennai, home to over 1 crore people and Tamil Nadu's IT and automobile industry hub, adds even more pressure on infrastructure and services. The 2015 Chennai floods highlighted the inadequacies and poor management of infrastructure. The results were catastrophic. The Adayar and Kuvam rivers overflowed. 35 major lakes breached their banks. Large parts of the city, including the international airport, were submerged. Not just for residents, but also for several IT and automobile companies. Over 200 people were killed in the floods, and the estimated monetary losses were around 15,000 crore rupees. The climate change is not the only culprit. The scale of the disaster in Chennai was accelerated by rampant disregard for town planning and basic principles of ecology and hydrology. To name a few violations, the international airport is built on the Adyar River floodplain. The mast rapid transit system sits atop on the Buckingham Canal. The government allowed buildings to be erected over more than 270 hectares of Pallikaranai marshlands south of the city. And the city's famed information technology and knowledge corridors are located on the wetlands and marshlands that would normally act as sink for floodwater. Chennai has emerged as a hot spot for floods, cyclones, and even droughts. Research from the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology reveals that urban heatlands over Chennai trigger sudden cloud bursts. Now, Chennai is among India's most climate vulnerable districts, according to vulnerability assessment done by Council on Energy, Environment and Water.
Climate change is one reason possibly, but there are also other reasons. It's because you've allowed, encroachments, for example. You're you're building, huge building monstrosities in places where there is no place for, existing buildings, right? So, and then you have, old stormwater drains that have not been redone or whatever. So I think it's a wake-up call to the individual citizen. It is definitely quite distressing when these things happen. But then, we all have a stake in it.